Alej versus WBC here in the Zelnaga Caverns, and this is gonna be a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, yellow versus red.
The new cannons are a possibility. Zelnaga Caverns, one of those maps, especially in PvP. Both these players, I'm sure, have played many times, and a cannon rush is possible. We've seen it in some of the highest leagues, GSL, MLG. You get the cannons going on the low ground there, but tucked in behind that natural, behind that gas geyser, and you can actually put your forge there as well. And there's also a spot behind the minerals where you can cannon off with a pylon or three, and then a cannon can make it so that your opponent cannot attack you back there, and basically can take down that nexus quite easily. So both players staying in their base at this point. We will not have any sort of forward forge, but still could have some sort of cannon play. We'll see what both players go with.
Yeah, Alej building his pylon a little bit close to the edge over here, and I think this has to do with wanting to deny your opponent any room to try to foregate, perhaps try to warp in a pylon on the low ground here to warp in units on the high ground. If you put a gateway and a cybernetics core here, essentially you kill off all of this area, as zealots and stalkers would end up getting stuck there, and it would be like shooting fish in a barrel, as we now see Alej, WBC doing a bit of the early scouting. So yeah, WBC is the red Protoss player and Alej is the yellow. I need to remember this, as WBC now going to be warping in a pylon on the low ground.
Nice. So Alej hasn't scouted yet. He doesn't know what his opponent's going for. And WBC throwing down a second pylon here before his gateway even. So he forced a cancel out of Alej, and now Alej throws up the forge here, and he's going to allow this forge to finish, I imagine. WBC is basically going to be throwing off the entire timing for Alej here. He's getting up his own gateway. He's going to be able to get to 4-gate so much faster, and I think Alej is going to have difficulty here perhaps defending any sort of gateway play unless he comes out with a perfect number of cannons and gets his own gateways up and running. So Alej at this point now just throwing down his gateway. It's going to be about 40 seconds behind, and his gas is going to be delayed as well. He is going to have to work with this forge. And you mentioned the buildings here for Alej could be placed flush up against the ridge. I think a better use for this pylon is spotting that low ground and spotting that pylon and perhaps cannons. And now we see WBC throwing down a number of pylons in the mineral line, and Alej pulling probes off to try to take these down. So I think WBC want to be cool, want to be cheesy at this point, is just allowing these cannons to, or the pylon in the mineral line to finish. And I think we'll just be going for some sort of gateway pressure, so sort of transitioning into a normal play after the rather crazy start.
Yeah, what's awfully odd about this is that WBC is actually really interfering with the mining, not only forcing the probes to try to take down these pylons, but some of those probes are actually trapped behind the mineral patch, unable to move. You can see over here, Alej has one probe currently unable to do anything at all, as probes are finally getting taken down, and now finally a zealot gonna be added back over here at home. You can see that the 4-gate has started. A second gateway being added. It looks like we are going to be training up some stalkers as well. There's a lot of energy on that nexus. Taking a look at the harvester count, WBC currently has 19 probes. He will be getting into about 22 probes, as some of these probes that he's been moving out with will get destroyed. It looks like WBC will be losing a lot of pylons here, so really WBC may end up biting himself by perhaps supply blocking himself in the long run.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he isn't following this up with 4-gate pressure. He would have been able to sort of chrono out that cybernetics core, force a lot of lost mining time, and but he spent all those minerals on those 3 pylons in the mineral line for Alej. So we'll see if it pays off. He's still going to have his cybernet or his warp gate finish a little bit faster. Alej is about, again, 40 seconds behind on that, but Alej is adding a photon cannon and now positioning these units to defend against gateway pressure, as he just has one gateway of his own, coming out with a second. And back in the base of Wanna Be Cool, looks like he's getting up a Twilight Council. So I'm not sure whether he's going to be going for Blink here. He's got a number of Stalkers. I imagine that's what he's going for, as a rush to Dark Templar with a cannon won't be so effective.
Yeah, that cannon is up on that high ground right there. It will be able to spot any units coming in. A Twilight Council now being added, and I'm not sure what Alej is. This is perhaps the oddest Sim City I've ever seen from a Protoss base ever. I really don't know what to make of it. It looks like a tower defense map where units have to zigzag through buildings in order to get anywhere. Meanwhile, back over here on the north side, Wannabe Cannons going to be destroying a pylon over here, a proxy pylon. It will not be able to put down any true pressure at all, as we are getting Blink research started. Meanwhile, Alej also getting his own Twilight Council, and it will be a little bit behind on Blink, and we'll see who has the better Blink micro, as both players, Alej sitting at 34 over 34, currently supply blocked. Meanwhile, Wannabe Cannons also supply blocked, or very close to it, at 41 over 42.
And Wannabe Cool actually only has 2 gateways, so I'm not sure what he's actually spending on. He does have out more Stalkers than Alej at this point. It is 6-4, but Alej has the high ground here. He's got a few Zealots, and he's got this cannon. So even with Blink, unless WBC adds a number of gateways and really starts putting the pressure on here with maybe 3 or 4 gates, I'm not quite sure this is going to be doing too much. And it looks like now he's adding a 3rd gateway and a robotics facility. So might come out with an observer to try to blink into the base of Alej and bypass that cannon, or it could be just abandoning Blink here a little bit, or this timing as he does poke the front door. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Alej now walking down with these units, and this is going to be very, very bad for Alej. Alej able to, WBC able to blink up and able to shut down one of those Stalkers. So one Stalker destroyed in that little bit of an engagement. Alej not quite aware that his opponent was knocking on the front door, as we now see also Charge being researched by Wannabe Cannons. 4 gateways now, or the 4th gateway now being warped in by Alej, as well as Alej attempting to move out. Both players don't have any indications that they're going to be trying to expand anytime soon, as Alej, if he does not scout out this proxy pylon over here at the gold mineral patch, it may come back to bite him, as units may be able to reinforce midfield and then simply walk up that ramp.
Yeah, I think Wannabe Cool basically just wanted to protect himself from DTs. He knew the gas was going to be a little bit late from Alej, but now he's coming out with that observer. So Alej just went for Blink. It has finished and actually has a bit of an army advantage. It is 13 Stalkers to the 8 of WBC. So we'll see whether he's able to force a cancel on this Nexus. I imagine he will at least get that, but he could also do some big damage here, pushing up into the base of WBC.
Yeah, right now there's just too much of a welcome party by WBC on the high ground, especially with a sentry up there as well, able to trap some of those units. The Stalkers do have Blink though, so you can't really trap any Stalkers that have a Blink, as they're able to escape. But we are going to see perhaps another weird build by Alej, as Alej now going into a robotics facility and perhaps going to be going into Immortals. We can see another Nexus has been warped in by WBC after the cancellation. There is also one observer in the air keeping track of Alej's army. And this observer will notice that his opponent has not yet set up a natural expansion. And perhaps WBC will try to take this time to be the defender, perhaps get his expansion up, and then transition into the mid-game much, much better.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Alej gets off this robotics, whether he goes for the robotics bay immediately, or whether he gets out observers. He does have a cannon here protecting him against DTs, but maybe a DT being warped in on the high ground coupled with an observer from WBC. He might be worried about that, as we see a bit of a poking back and forth with these Stalkers. Both have Blink, so either player can sort of run away from this one. Obviously, WBC would be giving up that Nexus if he runs away, but he does have out his first Immortal here. That's going to do quite well against the Blink Stalkers of Alej. Yeah,
Alej right now blinking away with those Stalkers. It looks like WBC may try to blink as well. The Zealots almost engage, a little bit of a dangerous engagement there, as WBC's Zealots almost charge straight on into a group of Stalkers. That would not have been a safe call either. Alej does not have charge, as the Stalkers are now warping in as well. Alej does spot that pylon and wonders when it was set up, as now we are going to have a bit of an engagement. Stalkers are blinking back and forth. There is an Immortal in the backfield, and that Immortal main is still finally getting into the battle. Stalkers are blinking back and forth. Force fields are coming into play as well, as there are a lot of low hit point units coming in from both sides. WBC now starting that blink micro as well. Both sides just trying to blink back and forth, and who will come out on top is the key question. The one Immortal has taken a fair amount of damage. No more hardened shields. It may get destroyed in just a moment. It goes down, but I think WBC has the superior numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Those charge lots forcing a lot of micro from Alej, and they were able to do quite a bit of damage. And having to forcing a cancel on that Nexus. Wanna Be Cool has finished his own Nexus, could transfer some probes over there. He's got the lead there in the worker count, 32 to 27, and he's got a firm hold on this game. I'm not quite sure what Alej could do to come back.
Yeah, I thought Alej had a Nexus down over here. Was I mistaken? Was he warping in a Nexus?
He did, but he canceled.
Okay, so right now this is pretty much going to be an all-in attempt from Alej now. He knows that his opponent has his Nexus up and running, so right now he needs to hope that his army can grow faster and perhaps do a little bit of a push. Otherwise, he's going to fall too far behind. Actually, no, I take it back. Alej now attempting to set up a Nexus, arguing against doing anything too crazy. Zealots with also charge from Alej going to be trying to run into the mineral line back over here, perhaps taking down a couple of those probes. The Zealots do not have any weapons upgrades at all, and they are going to be greeted by a lot of Stalkers and Immortals.
Yeah, but it's 38 to 27 at this point, worker-wise, so I think WBC definitely has a huge advantage. If we look at the army count, it is 2,800 to 2,000. He also has those Immortals in there now, 3 of them. It looks like he was able to take down an Observer there, I believe, so Alej is going to be a little bit blind here at the moment, and WBC has his own Observer right over the army of Alej. I imagine he'll be pushing out, trying to prevent Alej from getting up on the second base. He knows that the Nexus going to finish in just a few more seconds, so might see him get aggressive here.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to be happening. WBC looks like he's in a very, very defensive posture. He's going to be able to do a lot or be able to fight back whatever Alej tries to throw at him at this point, and then perhaps just roll him over in just a little bit. Alej desperately needs to figure out something and figure it out fast in order to take this engagement. The Stalkers are blinking in. Another blink away as Alej able to dodge a couple of those particle disruptors, but the battle may be coming in now.
Yeah, another blink coming in from WBC, so we will take down a Stalker or 2 there. And now Alej does have his own charge up, so he needs to get those Zealots at the front, needs to get the Sentries, blocking off those Immortals, keeping them in the back. This is going to be a nice arc for Alej here. The Zealots doing work against those Stalkers. WBC is blink microing back those Stalkers, allowing those Immortals to get to the front, but the Immortals are attacking the Zealots at this point, and the Stalker count of WBC getting pretty low. He does have the Immortals all here. Another blink coming in, hoping to focus down the remaining Stalkers for Alej. It's now 84 to 47, now 51. We do have a few more Zealots coming in here. Going to try to focus down the Immortals here. The Immortals will focus down the Nexus first. That does go down. And now we've got probes on Stalkers, and that is not a good battle.
Yeah, that is not a good battle at all. You can see that the Stalkers are continuing to just utilize that blink very, very effectively, but the Zealots are going to be able to counterattack this just a little bit. WBC in a little bit of trouble, being forced to run, but he will be able to replenish his army much more effectively, much faster, as WBC now has one Zealot trying to chase away, and WBC will be able to regroup and regather back at home. He is running off of 40 Harvesters compared to 17. He has 16 mineral patches, or rather, 13 mineral patches as opposed to just 5. A little bit of long distance mining now coming in from Alej, and I believe Alej will have to give the GG and wave the white flag soon.
Yeah, I mean, all you could really hope to do here is maybe get DTs up and blink in and snipe the Observers, and then use I don't know, he can't do much. He is attacking here, so he's going to do us all a favor here of not making the game any longer than it needs to be. Down to 31 supply, and want to buy cannons or want to be cool, or WBC is going to end this one. So it's going to be 4-1 in favor of Gosu, taking down vVv Gaming for the second week in a row on Wednesday Night StarCraft.